So today we're talking about life improvements 2020, how to really take your life from where it currently is and how to elevate it to areas that you've never imagined before without putting immense amounts of time and pressure on yourself. Because let's be honest, we're super busy and we all have a lot of pressure, in various areas of our lives, whether you have lots of kids, whether you're getting married, whether you're graduating with a degree, whether you're retiring, doesn't matter what area of your life you're in currently. We find ourselves that either your stress controls you or you control your stress. Now, for those of you who have followed us for a period of time, you know that at one point I had to take control of my health, and at one point Dr. Rodney had to take control of his health, because if you don't manage your stress appropriately, it will manage you. So we thought we would take the time, since you're getting to know us, to really dive into the ideas of what works for us as far as improving our overall health and life, and ways that we can kind of suggest that you can incrementally start to add stuff in your own life. Because what worked for Dr. Rodney may be different than what will work for you, but you may gravitate towards something I'd say, and vice versa. So sometimes, when we get together, we're very much in alignment, and we would talk with patients about what the next best recommendations for them are. We always make sure that we're on the same page. We always make sure that we've talked through cases. We always make sure that the next right decision for them is the one that we both are 100% on board with. But if you're coming from the perspective, you haven't become a new patient in the office, you're still trying to feel out this idea of, can I feel better? Do I want to feel better? Do I want to put the energy into it? Do I actually believe that I can be better? Here's kind of some initial steps that we have to kind of get you on the route before you're actually ready to jump in and actually make that big commitment to improve your life and take control of it. So one of the first ones that I talk a lot about is sleep. Sleep for me is something that's non-negotiable for people, and it's oftentimes very undervalued. So you will hear a lot of people tout that, if you can stay up more hours in the night, you have an advantage over someone else. And I would actually argue that you are at a disadvantage. Your brain functions best when you get a ton of rest. And that rest is super important, because if you're not recharging for the next day, essentially you're showing up below par for the next day. And again, add the daily stress of life, maybe some poor diet choices, not getting enough water, and that just compounds over time till pretty soon the way you're showing up for yourself every day is not who you actually want to be. So my big one to start out with, there'll be plenty on this video that you can grab onto, is I want 7 to 8 hours of useful sleep a night. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is if you actually set a 1 hour deadline before you go to bed. No electronics, no TV, no cell phones, and you actually force yourself to try and get some downtime. And it doesn't stimulate the eyes to overrun the brain as well. Now, for those of you who have kids, spouses, yes, I understand it may be a little bit more challenging, but sometimes just setting those boundaries with family members and letting them know that things are, you're going to work on making some elevated changes, actually help them buy in a little bit as well. What's yours?
So I agree with rest. What's interesting about rest, though, is for Dr. Sara, where she'll need 6 to 8 hours, I can get away, keyword is get away, with 4 hours. I like to get about 6, though. So each person will be variable for that. Mine, though, I'm going to say is exercise. Exercise here in the great, theoretically white north of Michigan. We've been getting a lot of rain and things lately, but it has an impact on your body. And exercise is critical in understanding and managing how you respond to environmental changes and social changes. I really get aggravated and annoyed when someone says, oh, it's the new year, I'm going to change things. Well, why wait till the new year? Why not be active now? Why not make a conscious decision tomorrow? And Dr. Sara and I have exercised various ways in the past together. The best example that I can think of for the two of us was mountain biking. And the reason I say was is because I became a very avid and enjoyed riding, but the level by which I rode and the abuse that my body would take, and it is strain, it is a type of abuse, I could recover exponentially faster. Dr. Sara, on the other hand, didn't bounce back as quick, and that helped us really understand with patients, if Dr. Rodney's having a bad day, or Dr. Rodney needs to, myself, how do I need to recharge? Why is he going to this level of mountain biking? Why is he using road biking? I really like that strenuous exercise. Now, if you flip that, Dr. Sara may talk about it or may not, I despise yoga. I can't enjoy it. I've tried many types of yoga. I wish I did enjoy it. I just haven't been able to shut my brain off to that level to truly commit and get talented, maybe get into the exposure of the techniques, the different classes, the different types of yoga I just don't enjoy it. I still enjoy a very physical activity, whether it be mountain biking, running, or things of that nature. And so I think for me, exercise and the right exercise for your body type and your personality is really critical. That would be
Cool. So that's the second one. Third one for you is going to overwhelm you, and I need you to take a deep breath because it's going to be okay. And this one's also a very good one for myself, is unscheduled downtime. So the best way that you're going to win and actually get where you want to go in life is actually not to push and plan more. It's actually to take a step back, pause, and let nature take its course. So, 10 years ago, I probably was overcommitted and I said yes to every person that asked me to do something. And again, I still like to be a really thoughtful, kind person, and I like to do and give. But now I come from a place of rest rather than a place of angst and pushing and all of that. Because I hate to say it, the universe responds to the way you show up in the world. So if you're showing up to the world in a super anxious, forced way, guess what? They're not going to give you anything that you're asking for because they don't think you can even handle what you've got right now. When you come from a place of calm, where you feel like you've got things under control, that you're ready for what the universe has to give you in a different, better, similar way, right? You can evolve into that because you're coming from a place where you actually can handle what's currently going on, and you physically can handle your emotions in a way that shows the level of maturity needed to really elevate yourself to the next step. So it did not happen overnight for me as far as helping retrain myself, as far as I did not need to justify to myself that I needed more downtime. I did not need to justify that it was okay to say no to events. And what were my limiting beliefs around my ability to have downtime? So I really had to dive in myself to, how do I feel when I'm getting downtime? How do I feel when I'm not committing to something? And at first, I had to work through the angst of slowing down because my body was telling me you need to rev back up, even though everything I needed was to slow down, and I needed to work through that idea of letting it be uncomfortable until it became normal.
Well, and I agree with downtime and unplanned, but I'm actually a really big planner. And so for me, one of the things that I do to make sure my rest is quality is I have a pretty regimented schedule, especially on the days off, because that's when I can waste it the most. When people tell me, or when I know that I'm coming in to see patients, I know what my schedule looks like. That's a pretty easy day. But if the night before I just take that few minutes to make sure that my gym bag's ready for the morning, that I make sure that I understand what my challenges are in the day ahead, it lets me go to bed with a little bit of freedom, but in the morning I already know what problems I face based on what I did the day before, and I think that that's really critical.
And you meal prep.
Oh, I absolutely.
So there's a lot of planning that goes into a lot of what you do.
Yeah, my downtime may come in sporadic stints, but it's planned to give myself that opportunity. So yes, meal prepping takes place. Prepping to make sure something as simple as the laundry and all that's ready, so that I've got the gym clothes ready. Make sure that my office uniforms are consistent. I love having a uniform. Something Dr. Sara and I have gone back and forth on the years is, what do you want to wear? Well, if you can consistently set yourself up so you don't have to spend energy on the little thoughts that aren't going to change really your trajectory, just get them set. Make it very easy. That's a big one, I guess, for me is I like structure, but as much as the structure, I like those days where you said that sporadic downtime. When you know that I'm good. I know that I don't have to get anything done today. I can actually do something fun. That's a really big part. Not that downtime, but just having fun with it as well.
And foundationally for both of us, just as a way to kind of bring it all together, none of this means anything if we aren't getting adjusted. So a lot of people ask me why I get adjusted, and I get adjusted because it helps me not get sick, it helps me stay healthy, it helps me manage my anxiety, because I am such a doer. It helps Dr. Rodney get through his day. And so foundationally for us, you can only build for as solid of a foundation as you currently have. So you cannot build a 4-story house on sand, right? You have to build a 4-story house on a really solid ground. So for those of you that really enjoyed this, I would take it to the next level and say, let's add chiropractic to your overall life improvement. But on a very basic level, sleep for me,
and then for me, definitely going to go through with that planned down, or the scheduled downtime for me is important. And I think that's kind of the two big ones out of the handful that we've given. But that scheduled downtime, the planned sleep for you, I know is really big.
Yep.
The exercise, like those things. Obviously, it's hard to break it down into 5 categories because both myself and Dr. Sara have a regimen. If you ask us where I will be at 5 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be at the gym. Where will Dr. Sara be? She'll be sleeping. But in that afternoon, when it's 8 o'clock in the evening, what will Dr. Sara be doing and I be doing? Odds are we'll be enjoying a meal that we had prepped over the weekend, so that way we're ready. And the interesting thing is there's two different households. So we're related by marriage, but that's the commonality for us. So of these topics, it happens in both households, but it's very critical for the way that we handle ourselves on a daily basis, and very critical to personal life improvements.
So start with consistency. I don't care what it is. Pick one thing, even if we didn't mention it, pick one thing. Water, sleep, eating a green vegetable. Pick one thing that you can get consistent over a 21, 30-day window, because all of these things mean nothing to you if you do it sporadically, because the only way you up level in life is to get consistent and show up even when it's uncomfortable, show up even when it's hard, and show up even when you don't want to do it. So hope you guys enjoy this episode.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
We'll see you guys soon, and comment if you have any questions.